And good evening to the Kester's postgame show powered by Pizza Hut, coming to you live from the mic here on the south side of Fort Wayne. I'm Adam Lundy. Brett Rump will be joining me from the Pizza Hut in Decatur in just a few moments as we are wrapping up a regionals night of football here in the 260 and surrounding area, and we have had some exciting games in and around our area, including tonight's 1380 The Fan High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Midwest Box Breaks. But besides that, it was a lot of fun tonight, and I do have our first look at our H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard for you this evening as we prepare to set up our semi-state matchups for next week. A lot of games still yet to go final as we had a lot of 7:30 starts tonight, but we will go ahead and get you that H&K Chevrolet scoreboard of New Haven here in just a second. If you want to stop in and take a look at the show, we are streaming the show live on Facebook.com/1380thefan and at YouTube at YouTube.com/1380thefan. All right, a couple finals here for you so far. In Class 3A, it was Bishop Luers getting the win over Twin Lakes. Bishop Luers will host the winner of Angola and Knox. That game has yet to go final. Moving on to Class 2A, it was Adams Central over Eastbrook in our Midwest Box Breaks high school football game of the week. And it was a dominant, not only second half for the Adams Central Flying Jets, but also a dominant second quarter, coming back from 14-0 down and ending up winning the game 42-28. So Adams Central, a little slow to start, but then their dominance continued over Eastbrook. And it looks like Adams Central will be on the road at Andrean. That game has yet to go final, but Andrean has a 21-point lead with about 2.5 left to go in that one. Other than that, still a lot of finals that we're waiting on for right now. I can tell you right now that Carroll has taken a 34-30 lead over Penn in the fourth quarter on the road at Penn. So this could, if the Chargers could all hold on, that would be huge for the Carroll Chargers to win that 6A regional. Also, it's looking like Bishop Dwenger should hold on against Lebanon. Lebanon did just score a touchdown. They're going for a 2-point conversion now. That's no good. So the score is going to be 39-27 Bishop Dwenger with about 3:20 left remaining in that game. So it's looking like Bishop Dwenger should move on and win that regional. Also, taking a look at Angola and Knox, they are in the fourth quarter at Knox, and it's a 28-21 lead for Angola. But Angola is driving, looking to hopefully tie this game up at 28 apiece. All right, that is a look at our H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard. Again, we're waiting for Brett Rump to get to the Pizza Hut in Decatur and set up and tell us about the win for Adams Central tonight over Eastbrook. That'll be coming up soon. We'll also be continuing to gather scores as they continue to roll in from around the area. We'll be setting up all of our semi-state matchups for teams in our area that will be moving on to next week's matchups, and we'll hopefully maybe talk to a winning coach or two as well. We'll be taking up to 11 o'clock here, right here on 1380 The Fan, when we switch it over to Bob Level, who will give you a statewide recap of tonight's regional matchups all around the state of Indiana. But up until then, you're here with me, Adam Lundy, and we'll be hanging out here for the Kester's postgame show powered by Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan. Just want to remind you guys, if even if you're not down in Decatur, you can't stop by and say hi to Brett at that particular Pizza Hut tonight. Maybe if you are in that area, certainly do stop by and say hi. But if you are just looking for something delicious to eat, either tonight after your football game or just out and about, or you need some leftovers for tomorrow, I can always recommend the Pizza Hut app. Just download the Pizza Hut app to your phone. You can see all of the specials. You can find the Pizza Hut closest to you, and you can put in an order for carryout right there on your phone, and they'll have it ready at the Pizza Hut of your choice, ready to go. And you can also see all their latest specials and deals on the Pizza Hut app as well. So take a look at that and get yourself some delicious pizza. We'll be back with more final scores. Brett will be joining us from Pizza Hut. We'll get his reaction from tonight's 1380 The Fan High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Midwest Box Breaks, and a whole lot more. You're listening to the Kester's postgame show powered by Pizza Hut, live on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to our final edition of the Kester's Postgame Show. We are live at the Decatur Pizza Hut, and we'll be here until 11 o'clock, recapping all of the regional action, setting you up for semi-state football. Who's going to play who? Where will they play? That is all coming up here on the Kester's Postgame Show. Of course, we just finished up at Adams Central, where the Flying Jets did not get down after a 14-0 score in the first quarter. The Flying Jets just continued to go about their business. They eventually got to within 14-7 at halftime. And then in the second half, I think it was the whole football game, the opening drive of the second half. Adams Central had deferred the opening coin toss, so they got the ball to start the second half. Took them 2 plays to get the tying touchdown. And from there, they ended up scoring again to take the lead. And eventually, it was Adams Central that prevailed 42-28 over the Eastbrook Panthers. I'll tell you, it was a heavyweight fight. It was 2 undefeated teams, both 12-0, 2 teams ranked in the top 4 in the state. Eastbrook came in at number 4. Adams Central, of course, the number 1 ranked team in Class 2A, but it was the top dog, the defending state champs, the number 1 ranked team in the state that was able to prevail at home and get a key touchdown late. And they converted on a 4th down on just an unbelievable play by Jamison Roach. And eventually the Flying Jets got the victory. But it was a heck of a football game we had a chance to see for our final. And I got to say this, for our final outdoor event, for me, it was not bad. Temperatures were pretty comfortable, little cool, but not bad at all. Had a little bit of breeze, but not wind. And we'll take it for mid-November. We will take this type of weather anytime, any year. It was not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's been unseasonably warm here for the last couple of days after that little bit of a snowstorm we had earlier in the week. So definitely an up and down weather week in November. I can tell you right now, just real quick, a little bit of an update. Angola was driving to get a touchdown to hopefully tie the game up with Knox at 28 apiece. Unfortunately, Angola has thrown an interception, so I think that might be the nail in the coffin, and it looks like Knox is going to pull away with a 28-21 victory. But we'll keep you abreast of that. But yeah, man, some good weather. It's supposed to be even warmer tomorrow.
Well, I can tell you this. We've got a group of guys sitting in the table right next to us here. And I can tell you where they're from because I can see the back of this fellow's sweatshirt. They are from Adams Central. They have come in to celebrate a regional championship. And you know, you guys got a road trip next week. I don't know if you're going to make it all the way to Andrean, but that's a pretty good haul. I think, is it Andrean?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Andrean. They beat Southmont tonight 52-32.
Okay, because I thought Griff was telling me they were going to play Southmont, but it's Andrean next week.
Yep.
For the Adams Central Flying Jets. Let's do a little quiz with our guys that have come out to join us tonight. What city is Andrean in? Merrillville. We got a winner over here.
Wow, look at them.
I got no prize, but he knows that Andrean's in Merrillville.
No prize for you.
No, but it's about 2 hours away to get to Andrean. So it's going to be a bit of a road trip, but hey, they're used to 2-hour road trips at this time of year, right? Because usually it's 2 hours straight south to Indianapolis, and they usually make that trip by Thanksgiving weekend. So no problem for the Flying Jets. Jamison Roach got to be so impressed with what he did because he struggled early. He had 2 really bad passes. And I can say that because he turned it around and ended up saving the game for Adams Central. But in that first half, he had an over-the-top post pattern with a guy wide open and he overshot him. Should have been an easy 7 points, ended up being a turnover on downs. And then came back later on a 4th and goal situation, had a guy in the back of the end zone open, and he kind of short armed it and left it short and at his feet, didn't get caught. So that ended up turning it over on downs. 2 touchdowns left off the board in that first half for Adams Central, or they would have been ahead at halftime. But again, Adams Central, they can face adversity. They are just a tough group mentally, physically, and they showed it. They were the tougher team in the second half. They were able to overcome adversity. They rode momentum. The crowd was fantastic tonight. One of the loudest crowds that I've heard at any high school game this year. just absolutely insane. Once Adams Central got that momentum, they carried it all the way to the finish line. And so Adams Central just ho hum, they win another regional. Maybe next year we should just throw them into class 4A or 5A and see what happens.
See how
You
well they
know,
do there.
yeah, we thought, oh, well, the real test will be when they go from 1A to 2A. Well, that's proven to not be a challenge. Everybody thought the battles of Indy Lutheran and Adams Central will go away when the both teams get pushed up to 2A. For Indy Lutheran, that has been the fact. But for Adams Central, they just continue to go about their business and go down. And even last year, won a state championship 2A. They couldn't win it in 1A, but they go up a class and win a state championship. And now they might be on their path to another. But I'll tell you what, that Andrean team's going to be a tough one. Going on the road, you got the number one ranked label. You go all the way to Andrean. It's not even the same time zone. Andrean's in Central Time.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, it's almost like going to Illinois to play a football game. So it will be a real challenge for Adams Central next Friday night. I think they're up to it. I think they've got a team that can win it. But I will say this: that in the 2 years they played in 2A, and all of the years they played in 1A, prior to getting to Lucas Oil Stadium, this will be the toughest game that they will play. Tougher than even what they had tonight, because at least tonight they had the home crowd. But next week, we'll see how many people travel from Monroe.
Wow, how about another touchdown for the Carroll Chargers to lead 41-30 over Penn in the fourth quarter?
Man, a shootout.
Yeah, yeah.
How much
Man,
time is left?
there's no clock on the thing, but I'm guessing there's, if I had to guess, maybe about 5-6 minutes left in the game.
Wow. Carroll Chargers,
Maybe four.
what they do, they start 0-2 against tough competition.
Yeah.
But you know what it did? It got everybody's attention and made them realize where they needed to improve and where they had to get better. And if they were going to go down to Indianapolis, they learned exactly what they were going to have to be and what they were going to have to look like. And that's what they've become. They've improved their running game. They have a skilled passer who's gained experience throughout the year. I mean, I haven't heard the name Jimmy Sullivan for some time until I just said it, because Gabe Freisinger's come in and done a terrific job for the Carroll Chargers. And, you add to that some good receivers.
Yeah.
And, the defense, 30 points, a lot of points to give up. But when your offense scores 41, 30 ain't so bad.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. They're mixing up both they've got their run game going now as well as the throwing. So it was Gabe Freisinger hitting Jaden Van Pelt for a 38-yard gain, and then Asher Wagner found the end zone on a 29-yard run for that 41-30 lead. And there's actually only 3:42 left in the fourth quarter. So hopefully Carroll can hold on.
Stealing Asher Wagner from the defensive unit has really helped the Carroll running game. And of course, he still is out there with the defense, but he kind of gets some spot plays offensively. They've got a sophomore now that runs in the backfield. So Carroll has found a little bit of a running game, and they've also allowed Gabe Freisinger to start running with football a little bit more. And you've got to have balance in your offense this time of year, especially with the cold conditions. That they're lucky they haven't played in a snowstorm. They haven't played in a weather game where it's pouring down rain or high wind, which certainly helps Carroll because they have such a dynamic passing attack. But they've also shown a little bit more balance in their offense, and they've been able to run the football a little bit more as the season has progressed. All right, I've kind of killed some time here because we're trying to get these games closer to final,
Yeah.
maybe even some of the opponents closer to final. But we do
Yeah.
need to check in on an H&K Chevrolet of New Haven high school football scoreboard.
Let's do it. And we are mostly complete now, just waiting for one more final. But we're going to start in Class 4A, where it was Bishop Dwenger scoring 39 points and getting the win over Lebanon on the road. Dwenger will host 12-1 South Bend St. Joe, who defeated Hobart tonight by a score of 10-7 in semi-state next week. In Class 3A, Knox defeats Angola tonight by a score of 28-21. Bishop Luers gets the win over Twin Lakes 14-7. So Bishop Luers will will be hosting 13-0 Knox, who defeated Angola tonight next week. In Class 2A, it was Adams Central over Eastbrook 42-28. You heard it right here, thanks to Midwest Box Breaks. That means Adams Central will be at 11-1 Andrean, who defeated Southmont tonight 52-32. And it was a close one in Class 1A, but South Adams gets the win over North Miami 25-22. South Adams will host the 12-1 Pioneer team, who defeated LaVille tonight by a score of 34-13. And a quick bonus score for you tonight, Brett. The Fort Wayne Comets defeated the Kalamazoo Wings on the road tonight 5-3.
If I'm thinking ahead, I think that Lures Knox game would have a lot of intrigue for me personally, but I'm not going to be here next Friday.
Right.
I'm going to
You'll
be
be
in
with the
St.
Dons.
Louis watching the Dons play the Billikens, and I think that game will be on a stream. Dean Fantazzi will be in for me, but that Lures Knox game is very interesting. It's at Lures, and I don't know how close Miles McLaughlin is going to be to the national record set by Derrick Henry.
I believe. Did you say he surpassed it tonight, Ross? I've been told he surpassed it tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
He needed like 400, 500 yards.
I know.
He might have done that to Angola. I don't know. Well, the bottom line is
a lot of interest.
It'd have been more interesting if he didn't break it tonight. But the fact that you got a chance to see the all-time number one rusher in high school football, and he's a quarterback. He's not a running back. He is the quarterback for Knox. So that we know what the task will be for Bishop Lures. Stop that guy. What number does he wear? 7?
I'm not sure.
11? The scouting report is basically going to be go get number 7 or whatever his number is. I'm trying to picture. I've seen tons of highlights, and I can't remember what number he's wearing. He's usually moving too fast
2?
down the screen to see. Is it 2?
I'm not sure. Okay. I've been told it's 2. He did not break the record. He only had 372 rushing yards tonight.
Only 372.
Only 372.
Yeah. What a disappointing night. So how many yards away is he? Do we know?
I'll figure it out here.
He may have a chance to break it at Lures.
Mm-hmm.
May take a heck of a night, but I would think that would be a game that would be fun to see. Now we know that if Carroll wins, Carroll's at home next week. And we just have to track who wins between Westfield and Fishers.
Yeah, I can already tell you that Westfield has won over Fishers, so it would be Carroll hosting Westfield.
Okay, so we do know that much.
Yep, and it looks like. Go ahead.
What was the score of the Westfield Fishers game?
Yeah, 1 second here. Westfield defeated Fishers tonight 20-10.
So fairly close game. It'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting win for Carroll.
No question.
Because we were talking about what our Thanksgiving weekend was going to look like, and Indiana and Purdue play football on Friday night. So we've got coverage of Indiana and Purdue, but I was looking at the schedule. 1, 3, and 5 classes. 1, 3, and 5 play Friday. Now, right now, we've still got Lures that's alive in 3A, but they've got a tough test if they have to play Knox. You've got 5A, nobody still around. 1A, South Adams, did they end up getting that win over North Miami? I know that was a tight one.
They did. It was 25-22 South Adams over North Miami.
Yep. So South Adams and Adams Central. It's an Adams County semi-state coming up next week. And is South Adams at home? I think they might be at home next week.
Yep. They host 12-1 Pioneer, who defeated LaVille tonight.
So they'll be at home?
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm getting signals from the one South Adams guy that's at the table with all the Adams Central. He decided not to go follow or support his team. He would just bandwagon with all the Adams Central fans tonight. Now, next week, South Adams is at home.
Pioneer is at South Adams. Yep.
Pioneer at South Adams next week. So all these South Adams Central kids, they're going to have to go to South Adams next week and support the Starfires to return the favor. Yeah, I think so. Um, I mean, that's what you've got to do, right? If your buddies from South Adams come up and go to Adams Central to support the Adams Central Flying Jets, then when the Flying Jets are on the road and South Adams is at home, especially a semi-state, you go and show support, you unify for Adams County, and everybody goes to Bern and enjoys a Friday night of football. Right?
Right, right.
I'm making the rules. I'm making the rules for these kids. I'll probably never see them again, but I'm telling them what their plans are for next Friday. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a timeout, and we're going to come back. It is Regional Friday, championship trophies being handed out, and semi-state schedules being cemented. And we'll continue to give you updates as we go through the night. It is the Kester's postgame show, live in Decatur at Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Actually, we are live in Decatur at the Pizza Hut. I am Brett Rump along with Adam Lundy. Macy Gray is our studio producer, and we're hanging out with some folks here in Adams County because this is nothing but winners. in Adams County tonight. You've got Adams Central getting a win in 2A, South Adams getting the win in 1A. Both teams will advance into next week's semi-state. How great would that be if both teams can make it down to Indy? The only problem is because they're in 1A and 2A, one would start the day on Friday, the other one would have to play on Saturday morning. And for fans wanting to see both games, they would have to go on two separate days. But we've already made plans to get some Adams Central fans down to Bern next week to support the South Adams Starfires because we have a South Adams fan that went to the Adams Central game tonight. And obviously that worked well for Adams Central. They get a 42-28 win. It was our Midwest Box Breaks game of the week, and it did not disappoint. So it's always nice when the one game you have an option to cover turns out to be a really good football game with some quality play, very few penalties, a game of momentum and runs, and two teams that showed championship mettle as far as when they faced adversity, they battled back, and just a fun game to watch and enjoyed it significantly. But we've got to take a look at our scores tonight. It's the H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard.
All right, thanks, Brett. Taking a look at tonight where we now have gone final across the board. In Class 6A, Carroll goes on the road and gets the win over Penn tonight, 42-30. Carroll will host 10-2 Westfield, who defeated Fishers tonight by a score of 20-10. In Class 4A, it was Bishop Dwenger over Lebanon, 39-27. Dwenger will host 12-1 South Bend St. Joe, who defeated Hobart tonight, 10-7. In Class 3A, it was Knox over Angola, 28-21, and Bishop Luers defeated Twin Lakes, 14-7. That means Bishop Luers will host the undefeated Knox team, who defeated Angola tonight, next week in semi-state. In Class 2A, it was Adams Central over Eastbrook, 42-28 in our Midwest Box Breaks game of the week. That means Adams Central will be at 11-1 Andrean next week, and Andrean defeated Southmont tonight, 52-32. And in Class 1A, it was South Adams over North Miami, 25-22. South Adams will host 12-1 Pioneer next week, who defeated LaVille tonight, 34-13. And your bonus score tonight, Brett, the Comets defeat the Kalamazoo Wings on the road tonight, 5-3.
There's a lot of college basketball tonight too. Just to update some of the things happening with college basketball, the Michigan Wolverines, number 6 in the country, they trail TCU 40-39 with about 16 minutes left to go in that game. Illinois is up, and I believe Colgate might be undefeated, but Illinois is up 59-44 over Colgate with about 12 minutes left. And UCLA, Arizona, they're playing in the first half. And with 12 minutes on the clock, it is UCLA leading it over Arizona 15-10. Duke took care of Indiana State earlier, 100-62. Kentucky easily over Eastern Illinois, 99-53. Texas Tech beat Horizon League preseason favorite Milwaukee. Of course, Milwaukee just lost to Indiana. 80-63 was the final tonight. And Arkansas just a 4-point win over Samford. So some college basketball. It's one of those great times of year where we've got NBA, NFL, college basketball, high school football, and the stretch run. And before you know it, we're going to be starting boys basketball, also girls basketball underway. And of course, the Homestead Lady Spartans are the number 1 team in the state in our area. But tonight, pretty good night for Northeast Indiana, wouldn't you say?
I'd have to say so. I mean, you see a good amount of our area teams moving on to semi-state next week. I'm glad that a couple of them will be able to have a home game next week as well, but also some tough challenges on the road for a lot of these teams as well coming up.
So let's look at next week and what we know as a certainty.
hmm
6A, we now know the matchup, right?
Yep, Carroll will be hosting Westfield.
That will be a heck of a game out at Carroll.
No question.
Now let's see. 4A, Bishop Dwenger will be involved, and they will play. Do we know yet?
Yes, they get to host actually as well. They get to host 12-1 South Bend St. Joe, who defeated Hobart tonight.
So Bishop Dwenger at home, Carroll at home. Then we go to 3A.
Yeah, we
Bishop
actually
Lures will
yeah,
be at home.
we get more hosting than I thought. I was thinking about it before, and I was like, well, we have a couple on the road, but we have more home games than I thought originally. Yeah, Bishop Lures is going to be hosting that undefeated Knox team tonight, who has the McLaughlin kid, who's one heck of a runner.
Basically, what we've done is we flipped it from the regional to next week.
Yep.
Every team that was on the road tonight will be at home next Friday because Adams Central was the only home game tonight.
Yeah,
Next week, they'll have the only road game, right?
you're right. Yep. Everyone else gets to host.
South Adams is at home,
Yep.
Lures is at home, Bishop Dwenger is at home, and Carroll is at home.
There you go. No
Plenty of
excuse to
options.
not go to a semi-state game next Friday night.
Plenty of options of where you can go and support Northeast Indiana football in their pursuit of getting down to Lucas Oil Stadium and playing for a state championship, because that's what it's about next week with the semi-state. You're going to have every game, the winner going to Lucas Oil Stadium and playing the dream matchup down where the Colts play. So huge games, and they get to play them on their home turf. Carroll, Dwenger, Lures, and South Adams all hosting games. Adam, I got to bring this up because every time they win, I want to bring it up, and I do have to bring it up. South Adams, here they are, a step away from getting down to Indy. Didn't I tell you they were my sleeper pick to make it down to Indy? Do you remember that conversation we had? I don't know if it was on our podcast or if it was on our post game show, but do you remember me saying that South Adams was a sleeper to watch as a team that could make a run in 1A under Coach Grant Mosier?
I certainly do remember that, and that was something that you had said, even before postseason play had gotten underway. So I am here to vouch for you, and you did say that the Starfires are capable of making a run, and you've been right so far. Another win tonight, and they get to go to semi-state.
They got a quarterback that can make plays and can dominate a game. Titus Lehman is a great dual threat. He can do a lot. He can throw you to a win. He can run you to a win. And then they've got other players that are good as well. But I just like their versatility. They can throw it. They can run it. It just depends on what the defense is giving them. As long as they step up and continue to play defense, I think that's where their games are going to be won or losses on the defensive side of the football. So we'll see what happens with South Adams next week. They play who?
Yeah, 1 second here. I'll pull up my scoreboard. They will host 12-1 Pioneer, who defeated LaVille tonight by a score of 34-13. So it looks like it could be a high-powered offense coming in to face South Adams. So we'll see if, like you said, that defense is able to hold for them.
Could be a shootout next
Yeah,
week.
definitely
Uh,
possible.
and I don't know what the weather is projected to be. I bet the meteorologists don't know what the weather is projected to be. They'll tell us some kind of forecast, but usually those are just seasonal averages once you get past about 5 days. But next week, let's hope we have weather that's comparable to what we had tonight, because you really don't want these games to be decided by weather and have a
No.
team that likes to throw the ball not be able to throw it. You want to see the best teams playing for state championships. And if the weather is neutral, like it was tonight, ultimately the best teams will be making their way down to Lucas Oil Stadium. It's not going to be about a team having to change its stripes that throws the ball quite a bit. Let's use Carroll as an example. Now, Carroll actually has played in bad weather and succeeded in bad weather, even though over the last few years, they've been a team that's dominated through the air. But this year, I think their best chance to win is slinging it. And if you get bad weather or high winds, I mean, maybe you're not going to be able to play your type of game. Have to rely on the running game a little bit more, and I don't think that's favorable for Carroll. Westfield's team is going to want to win with defense, and if you take half of the offense away for Carroll because of bad weather conditions, that will play into Westfield's favor. So we'll see how
Yeah.
that game goes. And I don't know what the weather is supposed to be next week, but tonight
Uh,
it was perfect.
well, I know we're not trusting them this far out, but that might come into fruition. Next Friday, 75% chance of rain, a 58-degree high.
Yeah, I don't really buy a forecast until
No,
it's like 3 or
no.
4 days, and then I start to kind of trust a little, but once it's within about 2 days, then you feel like, "Okay, they figured it out. They know the jet stream, they know the conditions, they know the amount of precipitation." Then you can kind of figure it out, but, what's the temperature supposed to be next week or late next week?
Yeah, lows in the upper 40s, highs in the upper 50s. So not too
Not bad.
cold, but not too hot either. Yeah, no, it's fine for November football. You can't complain about that.
Not bad. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to get you updated with another, maybe even complete
It is.
H&K Chevrolet of New Haven high school football scoreboard. And we'll still try to connect with a couple of the winning coaches tonight because we've got a lot of them that are celebrating regional championships. It's all coming up on the Kester's postgame show, live from the Decatur Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
FM.
Really good night for Northeast Indiana tonight in regional action, which means we're going to have a very busy semi state coming up next Friday. A lot of Northeast Indiana football teams are going to be playing for the right to get to Lucas Oil Stadium. Tonight really couldn't have gone too much better. In 5A or in 6A, Carroll, they go on the road and get the win. We didn't have a 5A team playing. 4A, you had Bishop Dwenger go all the way down to Lebanon and get a 39-27 win. I'm surprised Lebanon put up 27 against that Bishop Dwenger defense, but Dwenger had control of that game from the early onset. In fact, they had a pick six that got the scoring started, and they kind of rolled from there. Then in 3A, you had two teams in action. Only Angola lost, but Bishop Luers would have played Angola next Friday. Instead, it's going to be Bishop Luers versus Knox. And the drama there is it's going to be a chance for Miles McLaughlin to set the national all-time scoring record. What'd you say? It was like 360 some yards away.
Yeah, 363 yards from the all-time rushing yards record in high school.
That is about, and that seems like a crazy number to expect it next week, but that's what he's been averaging, is about 360 some yards per game rushing the football. He is the Knox quarterback. He really has been kind of off the radar. No one's really talked much about him until just the last couple of weeks, but he plays in a conference with a lot of smaller teams, picks on guys that aren't his own size. And it's nothing against him. He's an outstanding football player. But I think in some ways, he had to earn some respect. People started watching his film, looking at the talent that he had with his footwork, with his strength, and they started to give him a lot more credit over the last couple of weeks. Part of that is Gronk had the film breakdown on Miles McLaughlin, but that will be the challenge for Bishop Luers coming up next week. And then in 2A, Adams Central gets a victory at home against a previously unbeaten Eastbrook squad. And South Adams goes on the road, knocks off North Miami. South Adams will be hosting Pioneer coming up next Friday. There isn't much that could have gone better with tonight.
No, nearly perfect all around for teams around our area. And like you said earlier, before our last break, this sets up a perfect flip-flop from this week for next week to have a lot of our area teams hosting. So nice to see a lot of them coming back next week to play their semi-state games a little bit closer to home, get some good crowds behind the teams.
A lot of players to call out for Adams Central. First of all, Jamison Roach, because he showed a lot of mental toughness. You know, he knows he missed a couple of passes in that first half. He missed a pass over the top to a streaking Braylon Reber that would have been an easy touchdown. And Reber was a good 10 yards behind the defense. And he sailed the pass about 10 yards past Reber. Incomplete pass, didn't get the touchdown. The crowd wanted to be energized. They thought they saw the play develop and thought this was going to be a big play. And then he missed it. Well, then you go to the second quarter, and you've got a guy working the back line of the end zone, one of the Adams Central's receivers, and it was Everett, I believe, if I remember correctly. And Roach saw him on a fourth down and goal and kind of short armed it. And I think in some ways, the back of his head was still telling him, don't overthrow it. And he kind of short armed it and left it at his feet. It was incomplete. And so he had two almost sure touchdowns that he did not complete. I bring that up not because I'm trying to call him out for things he didn't do, but I want to tell you how you see this mental toughness, because here's a guy who had to be disappointed in those two throws, but came back and made some unbelievable throws in the second half. I mean, throws in a tight space and tight windows. It was just unbelievable. And in fact, I get to talk to the coach about it because he is joining us now. I believe we do have Michael Mosier, the coach of the Adams Central Flying Jets, joining us. Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We've got you. We've got you perfectly. Sounds even clearer than a phone call. By the way, we were just talking about it. I was so impressed with Jamison Roach and the way he bounced back, because you know, you've got to admit he had two touchdowns that he missed.
Yeah.
And he had to bounce back from it. And he did. He made some great throws in that second half.
Well, that's one thing I talk a lot about with Jamie. He's just one that doesn't let a lot of things bother him. I was a quarterback in high school and college, and I don't think I would have the fortitude sometimes that he does, because if I didn't do what I needed to be done at a certain time, I kind of got down a lot. He doesn't do that. I mean, he makes some bad plays and it looks terrible, and then he bounces back. And I think that's one thing that just really sets him apart from other players, is he just doesn't let things bother him in that way, and he can bounce back quickly. And I think that's what makes him so good.
Of course, my sidekick, a former coach at Manchester, Shannon Griffith, he would love to know what you had to say at halftime, because the way that second half started, your team just came out with a different level of energy. And I think you probably stressed the importance of that first drive of the second half being down by 7.
Well, we sure did, and we talked about 24 minutes. We felt pretty good about playing. Sorry, I'm a little off here.
We've got you. I think, yeah, there's another phone that's interfering. So just go ahead, Coach. I want to hear you finish your point.
Well, we felt pretty good that we played so bad and we were only down 7, and that we were getting the ball. So we knew that we had to right the ship right away. I talked about 24 minutes, seniors, is all you got. And we haven't played very well, and we need to be able to right the ship and get going. And I think our guys, heard that message. We had a good offensive a plan put in place, some adjustments that we need to make, and it was just about making plays. I said, guys, we have to make plays, and they did. They did in the second half.
You get down in that first quarter 14-0. As a coach, do you look for anything on the sideline that signifies doubt or lack of confidence?
Well, it wasn't definitely my kids, but I'd have to say I was probably not having the best of thoughts at that particular point anyway. I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? You can't let yourself think that way, even though those thoughts come in. And I kind of felt that our coaches all did a superb job of not losing control. I think that's what makes us so good, is our kids and our coaches just didn't panic. We knew that we can inch back, and I think we made the right calls offensively to be able to do that. I thought our kids stepped up defensively when we needed to, and that's a hard offense to defend. It is.
It's your offense.
It is, and I think that's probably why it's so hard to defend.
I imagine you would like it.
I do like it, but I don't like it when we have to try to stop it. I like it when we're in control. So kudos to Eastbrook. They're so well coached. Their kids are so good, and we made them work and they made us work. And it was just the making of a great football game.
How have your kids handled having the target on their back as the #1 ranked team in the state and the defending state champion? Because it is different when you're going out there as the hunter. And I think last year, your first year in 2A, you probably were hunting as opposed to being the hunted, because clearly Eastbrook came in with a thought in mind that they were going to knock off the #1 team in the state.
Well, I think we have to live with that every week. So our kids are just used to it. We don't like, we just don't let that bother us. We just go out and play. And I think our kids do a really good job of not getting caught up in, what ifs, and getting caught up in what other people are saying outside. I just think they stay focused. We know there's a target on our back, and we have to play our best or we're going home. And I think our kids they just don't let that bother them. And we don't stress it either. We just don't focus on it. We take one game at a time, and we know that our opponents are quality, and so we focus on that. We don't look ahead. We don't think that we're better than anybody else. We try to stay humble and play our game.
It was so much fun to watch your team play tonight, and your running back Miller. He broke a couple of plays. He's built like a fullback and runs like a gazelle. I mean, he got to that sideline and no one was catching up to him.
Our guys did a great job of opening up some holes, and those are those plays where you expect to maybe get 2-3 yards, and that's our hope. and then all of a sudden, boom, he goes. And if he can get out in the open, he's got some speed to him. So, really thought he did a great job. I had like 190 yards on the night. His best game, and I thought Eastbrook did a good job of stopping Jamie on some of our quarterback plays, and we knew that we had to go to somebody else, and Vance stepped up and got it done.
Well, congratulations again, Coach. You never take these for granted.
No,
It's on to the semi-state next week. You've got a tough one on the road at Andrean. I'll let you enjoy this one. We won't talk about Andrean, but have a great week, and best of luck next week.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
That is Michael Mosier, coach of the Adams Central Flying Jets, joining us here on our post-game show. We got to take a quick time out. We're going to come back, and hopefully we'll get South Adams coach Grant Mosier.
Yeah, I think he's in with us, so we'll get him hopefully right after the break here.
We got to get a quick break, and then we'll talk to Coach Mosier from South Adams coming up next. This is the Custer's post-game show live at the Decatur Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
The Fan at 100.9 FM.
Like getting caught in a traffic jam on the freeway. I hate that when we have two coaches that join us about the same time, and I got to have one of them wait. I hate to make the coaches wait. They've got to be able to celebrate. They've got to be able to enjoy it at least for a couple of hours before they start looking ahead. But it is our pleasure to welcome to the show from South Adams, the Starfires head coach, Grant Mosier. Coach, congrats. Tough win tonight.
Hey, appreciate you having me on. And no worries at all. We're driving home from Denver, Indiana. So we have about another hour, 15 minutes left still.
I feel like we should break into country roads and just sing that to the rest of the show. But no, you had to go on the road tonight. That's always a challenge, especially this time of year. But your kids got it done. I mean, faced a lot of adversity tonight, but they were able to find a way to win.
We talked all year, especially tonight pregame, about just facing adversity, responding to adversity, being resilient. And they came out, scored on the first drive, kind of punched in the mouth, and we just kept fighting back. We were down one at halftime, came out in the third quarter, kind of ran a trick play to take the lead, but they bounced back and scored again. Then last drive of the game there, we went and scored, and defense had a huge shutout once again. Our defense played absolutely phenomenal tonight. Great game plan. They're super disciplined. Uh, that obviously you go the triple option. You have to do your job with our tackles taking care of the fullback and linebackers, and then the outside backers taking care of the quarterback, and the DBs taking care of the pitcher man. But our defense played absolutely incredible tonight.
Is that where you've improved the most, is on the defensive side?
Absolutely, it's not even close. We thought going into this season we maybe have the offense a little bit ahead of the defense, but we have an unbelievable defensive staff with Scott Steiner and Jesse Odell and Clark Mosier and Tyler Sprunger and Jeff Sprunger and Kyle Klauser, who just log hours and hours of preparation. They meet with other coaches on Sunday nights and talk through different game plans and are so good at halftime adjustments, going through things like that. But then our kids are so coachable and buying entirely to that. We have a phenomenal senior class, 10 seniors, and they're great kids from great families. 7 of those 10 kids are academic all-state. So we're blessed with a great staff and even better kids.
I know I've talked to you before about Titus Lehman and the fact that he not only can do it with his legs, but he can do it through the air. That's got to give your kids a lot of offensive confidence that you can come from behind because you got a quarterback that can lead game-winning drives.
Yeah, not many teams in 1A see an offense as prolific as we are through the air with our aerial assault. Titus Lehman is phenomenal. Like I said, he can use his feet as well. Tonight he was 300 and I think 30 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He has 9 touchdowns passing in the last 2 games, 11 with no interceptions. And then we have incredible receivers as well. Wes Somerset, Derek McCain can just pick on 1A DBs if you don't double them. Jax Warner had a big game tonight. Will Patterson out of the backfield is the weapon. Nolan Culper had 2 catches. And then offensive line giving Titus time to get the ball out. So, I mean, we have a great offense, but tonight, again, defense is what won us the game tonight.
What's it mean to have Adams County with the 2 schools that aren't that far apart, Adams Central and South Adams, both at this stage of the postseason? That's pretty cool.
I'm glad they went 2A finally. I'll say that.
Then you can both make it.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
better that way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy for them. We talk to that coaching staff quite a bit. I go to church with one of their coaches and talk every week about the game, going in preparation, things like that. So yeah, it's cool that we have 2 successful programs so close together. The kids know each other. And again, we're enemies week 5 or week 6, but after that we root for each other the rest of the way through. So we're excited for them on their huge win. I know they have a huge test against Andrean coming up, and we have a huge test against Pioneer. I think it's number 1 in 1A on Hale right now. So we're excited. We get them at home, but man, we're up for the challenge. We're gonna enjoy this here for the bus ride home about, and then probably get into some Pioneer film tonight even still.
Coach, I do have to ask you before I let you go, was it shorts weather tonight for Coach Grant Mosier?
I still have really fat calves, so I definitely wore shorts and stayed warm. This is probably the best regional weather we've had in a long time. And it was when we were playing in the snow on Tuesday and Monday after school, I didn't think that would happen, but man, yeah, it turned out to be the perfect night for a regional championship.
Enjoy the week and best of luck next weekend. It's good to have you guys back home.
Yeah, thanks for the coverage, man. Appreciate it.
Yep, that's South Adams Coach Grant Mosier joining us here on the Custer's postgame show. Let's go ahead and get a rundown of our final scores with the H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard.
All right, thanks, Brett. In Class 6A tonight, it was Carroll over Penn 42-30. Carroll will host 10-2 Westfield, who defeated Fishers 20-10 in the semi-states next week. In Class 4A, it was Bishop Dwenger over Lebanon 39-27. Next week, Bishop Dwenger will host 12-1 South Bend St. Joe, who defeated Hobart tonight 10-7. In Class 3A, it was Knox over Angola 28-21 and Bishop Luers over Twin Lakes 14-7. That means Bishop Luers next week will host 13-0 Knox, who defeated the Angola Hornets. In Class 2A, in our Midwest Box Breaks High School football game of the week, Adams Central took down Eastbrook 42-28. Adams Central will be at 11-1 Andrean next week. They defeated Southmont tonight 52-32. And in Class 1A, South Adams defeated North Miami 25-22. That means South Adams will host 12-1 Pioneer next week. They defeated LaVille tonight 34-13. And quick bonus score, the Comets defeated the Kalamazoo Wings on the road tonight 5-3.
We'll take a final break and then we will come back and wrap it up, not only for tonight, but for this season with our Custer's post-game show. That comes up next here live at the Decatur Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Season just flying by. We are now through regionals. It seems like yesterday we were getting this season started. And tonight we're saying goodbye to our post-game show because next week, just not enough games. Of course, there was almost the same number of games next week as there was this week. Maybe we should have planned better. But generally, it gets to a point in the season where we don't want to reserve an hour and a half of programming to talk about 2 or 3 games, especially if our teams don't survive the semi-state. Well, now we've got 6A. Carroll will be hosting Westfield. That's awesome. 4A, Bishop Dwenger went down and beat up on Lebanon.
Yeah.
Or if you're from Nebraska, I understand it's Lebanon.
Interesting.
That's what I was told. But Bishop Dwenger gets to be at home next week against South Bend St. Joe. You've got a home game for Bishop Luers. They will take on Pioneer coming up next Friday night.
Luers host Knox.
Or I'm sorry, Knox. Yeah.
Yep, you're good.
And then you've got, I was still thinking of Grant Mosier.
No,
Then
you're
you've
good.
got 2A where Adams Central is going to take a road trip. But if there's anybody that's probably tough enough to go on the road and win, a team that's been down the path so many times, they know the routine. They're not going to be nervous about the pressure. They're going to go in there with some swagger, with some confidence and believe in themselves. And they will go to Andrean to take on the 59ers in Merrillville next Friday night. And then you've got South Adams, who is taking on Pioneer in Bern. They get to host that game. And so we've got a lot of, the only class we aren't going to have representing Northeast Indiana is 5A. And we only had one 5A team that actually started the tournament. That was Northside. And they had a heck of a battle against Concord, falling just short. So before the season started and even midway through the season, Adam, we were doubting if there was anybody that was going to be at this stage. And now all of a sudden we've got a chance to fill up most of the slots down at Lucas Oil Stadium if we have a good week next week.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, and this is what it's all about, coming down for a chance to go down to Lucas Oil Stadium. And like you said, I hope to see a lot of our regional teams down there at the home of the Colts.
So many people to thank for our post-game show all year long. Of course, Kester's Body and Frame Shop, they have been terrific as our presenting sponsor this year. Also, a big thanks to H&K Chevrolet of New Haven for providing the scoreboard. We also have to thank Pizza Hut for being our host on Friday nights. Thanks to Macy Gray back in the studio. She has been our studio producer throughout the entire season. Also, thanks to everybody in high school football. I don't know if this will be my final game for high school football or not, but it all depends what happens next week. But Dean Pantazzi will be in for me next Friday. And so I thank everybody that tunes in on Friday nights. That will do it for us. Adam, always appreciate you, my man. Adam Lundy and Ross the intern.
Yes, sir.
I am Brett Rum. Thanks again for tuning in for another edition of the Kester's postgame show live from Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.